Your brain treats that unfinished spreadsheet, that overdue tax document, or that looming creative project exactly the same way it treats a snarling predator charging at you from the brush. It is not a design flaw, it is not laziness, and it is certainly not a lack of ambition. You are experiencing a highly sophisticated, evolutionary survival response designed to keep you alive. We have spent years beating ourselves up for lacking discipline when the entire time our biology was simply running an ancient, ultra-protective program to shield us from perceived pain. Today, we are going to tear open the hood of your neural machinery to look at the exact gears causing this paralysis. You are going to discover the precise neural tug-of-war happening behind your forehead every time you try to start a challenging task, a battle between a hyper-reactive emotional center and a logical executive processor. Once you see the actual wiring of your aversion, you will stop fighting your own biology and finally learn how to hack the system. Your brain is terrified. To understand why we freeze, we have to look at the human brain as a biological machine running ancient software on modern hardware. Imagine walking through a dense forest thousands of years ago. Suddenly, a shadow moves. Your amygdala, that tiny almond-shaped alarm system deep in your temporal lobes, fires instantly, flooding your body with stress hormones. It does not pause to analyze if the shadow is a tree branch or a bear. It acts first to keep you safe. Now, fast forward to today. You sit down at your desk. You open a blank document. Suddenly, a wave of discomfort washes over you. Why? Because to your amygdala, the cognitive strain, the fear of failure, and the sheer boredom of that task feel like an immediate existential threat. This is not just a metaphor. In a landmark study published by Dr. Fuchsia Siroz in the year 2013, researchers discovered that procrastination is not a character flaw or a time management problem at all, but an immediate emotion regulation problem. When you look at a difficult task, your brain anticipates negative emotions like anxiety, insecurity, or frustration. To protect you from those feelings right now, your limbic system, the emotional, impulsive part of your brain, demands immediate mood repair. It practically screams at you to look away, to check your phone, to clean the kitchen, to do literally anything else that gives you a tiny hit of relief. It is the ultimate biological trade-off. Your brain willingly sacrifices your future happiness for a brief moment of comfort right now. Think of your emotional brain as an overprotective parent. It sees you struggling with a difficult puzzle, panics because you look stressed, and rips the puzzle out of your hands, replacing it with a comforting piece of candy. It thinks it is doing you a favor, but in reality, it is trapping you in a cycle of avoidance. Every single time you turn away from a hard task, your brain registers a massive drop in tension. Your nervous system sighs with relief. But here is the trap. That sudden relief actually rewards the act of avoidance. Your brain takes a mental snapshot of that relief and writes a new line of code. When task feels hard, run away, feel better. The groove in the dirt path of your mind gets worn just a little bit deeper. How many times have you promised yourself you would start tomorrow, only to feel that exact same heavy wall of resistance when tomorrow actually arrived? This brings us to a shocking biological truth that changes how we view our entire self-worth. When you think about starting a task you dislike, your brain does not just feel metaphorical discomfort, it experiences real physiological pain. Let that sink in for a second. In a groundbreaking neuroimaging study led by Dr. Barbara Oakley in the year 2012, researchers put participants into functional magnetic resonance imaging scanners to watch their brains in real time. What they saw was mind-blowing. The moment participants even thought about tackling a difficult mathematical task, the insular cortex of their brains lit up like a Christmas tree. For those who do not know, the insular cortex is the exact neural region that registers physical pain, like when you stub your toe or burn your hand on a hot stove. Your brain is literally processing the anticipation of mental effort as physical trauma. No wonder you cannot just willpower your way through it. Who in their right mind voluntarily steps onto a burning stove? But here is the absolute peak of the discovery, the twist that changes everything. The researchers watched what happened next. If the participant actually forced themselves to start working on the task, the pain center, the insular cortex, completely quieted down within 10 minutes. The pain is not in the task itself. The pain is entirely in the anticipation of the task. Let that completely reframe how you view your daily delays. You are not avoiding the work because the work is hard. You are avoiding the work because your brain's alarm system is misinterpreting the initial discomfort of transition as a physical injury. Once you cross the bridge, the pain vanishes, but your brain is so focused on protecting you from the entry gate that it never lets you see the peaceful garden on the other side. It is like being terrified of diving into a swimming pool because the water looks freezing, only to realize that after 30 seconds of splashing around, your body adapts and it feels completely warm. Your mind is playing a sensory trick on you, and up until this very moment, you have been falling for it every single day. You know this understores. Laziness does not exist. There is only a nervous system trying to find safety in a world of endless cognitive demands. So, how do we use this neural blueprint to rewire our behavior? We cannot just delete our amygdala, nor would we want to. Instead, we have to learn how to speak the language of our nervous system to bypass the alarm before it even triggers. Here are 3 highly specific, scientifically grounded neural hacks to transform your relationship with resistance. First, we must deploy what we will call the insular bypass, since we now know that the physical pain response in your brain only lasts for about 10 minutes after you start. We have to lower the cognitive cost of entry so low that the amygdala does not even bother to wake up. Instead of telling yourself, I need to sit down and write this entire 30-page report, you must tell your brain, I am going to open the document and write for exactly 5 minutes, and then I am allowed to stop. It sounds almost too simple to work, doesn't it? But biologically, this is a masterstroke. By shrinking the task to 5 minutes, you strip away the threat profile. Your amygdala looks at a 5-minute task and says, well, that is not a saber-toothed tiger. That is just a harmless house cat. I will let that pass. Once you cross that 5-minute threshold, the insular cortex deactivates, your focus network takes over, and the momentum carries you forward naturally. You do not need willpower to finish. You only need a Trojan horse to get through the gates. Second, we use a technique called affective offloading. When you sit down and feel that heavy, invisible wall of resistance, do not try to ignore it or push past it. Instead, name it. In a brilliant study conducted by Dr. Matthew Lieberman at the University of California in the year 2007, researchers found that putting feelings into words, a process called affect labeling, significantly dampens the activity of the amygdala. When you write down or speak aloud the exact emotion you are feeling, such as, I am feeling deeply anxious that this project won't be perfect, you actually send an inhibitory signal from your prefrontal cortex to quiet your emotional brain. It is like turning down the volume knob on your internal alarm. You are taking the raw, chaotic energy of emotional avoidance and translating it into symbolic, structured language. The moment you name the monster, it loses its power to paralyze you. Third, we must build a micro-momentum loop. Our brains are highly sensitive to dopamine, which, contrary to popular belief, is not the chemical of pleasure, but the chemical of anticipation and pursuit. It is the fuel that drives us to take action. To get this chemical on your side, you must design your environment so that the very first step of your task requires zero decision-making. If you need to study, leave your textbook open to the exact page on your desk the night before. If you need to exercise, put your shoes right next to your bed. We want to eliminate what behavioral scientists call friction. Every single decision you have to make, even something as simple as finding a pen or looking for a file, gives your amygdala another window of opportunity to step in and shut down the operation. By automating the first step, you slide effortlessly into action, generating a tiny spark of dopamine that fuels the next step. Think about that. You do not need motivation to start. You need to start to create motivation. Take a deep breath and look back at all those weeks, months, or maybe even years you spent feeling guilty. All those times you labeled yourself as lazy, undisciplined, or incapable. Can you see now how unfair that was to yourself? You were trying to fight a biological survival system using nothing but self-blame. It was like trying to stop yourself from sneezing by yelling at your nose. Your brain was not broken. It was just doing its job too well, desperately trying to protect you from the discomfort of growth because it mistook that growth for danger. But today, the illusion is shattered. You are no longer at the mercy of an unmapped machine. You know exactly why the alarm rings. You know that the pain is only a temporary gatekeeper, and you have the keys to bypass the lock. You are not a lazy person trying to become disciplined. You are a conscious observer, learning how to guide a highly sensitive, beautifully designed biological vehicle. The next time you feel that familiar resistance rise up in your chest, do not shrink back. Smile at it. Recognize it for what it truly is, a false alarm from an overprotective friend. Step through the brief discomfort, quiet the pain center, and reclaim your focus. If you want to continue decoding the hidden biological forces that govern every single decision you make, subscribe to Habit Decoded and join us as we unlock the next deep mystery of how your mind constructs your daily reality. See you there.